Hello, everyone. Last year, I got a Present Toys Punishman Frank, and for the price, it's a great value for anyone who is looking for a Punisher figure of the John Bernthal variety. Overall, I was very happy with the item. The costume is really good. The head sculpt, I believe, is possibly just a recasting or a copy of the one that was put out before. Um, but the one thing I did have with a problem with was the scale. Maybe I'm picky. Maybe I'm just one of those nutty collectors who doesn't want everything looking exactly the same. I want my characters to look like they represent the character on film or in the comic book. In this case, both. So my one issue that I had with the Punishman Frank figure was the base body. Uh, the costuming looks really good. There's it's missing a belt, which I just picked up on eBay for a few bucks, which is pretty easy. Still, tremendous value considering the pricing of a Hot Toys figures these days is rather expensive. So I went around looking for a body to swap it with. Now, I did some homework, and um, Frank Castle is supposed to be, according to Marvel Comics, 6'3", different than Captain America, who's 6'2". So you can see the difference in the body here. This is the original Punishman Frank body, and it looks like he's probably more about, I don't know, 5'10" rather than 6'3". So I opted for the um, World Box AT-012. Much larger body, and I think it came out really well. If you compare him to the Age of Ultron Captain America, he's actually just a tiny bit taller, which works out really well. Let's see here. See, he's just a little bit bigger than Cap is, which works out great. Now, there were some issues that had to be resolved. As I'm doing this, I realized the vest didn't fit. Now, what was really fortunate for me is these straps on the top. You can see them there. What I did was I took a seam ripper and I popped the threads out. Fortunately, the belt portion of this is actually pretty long. So all I did was slide the belt out a little bit further and then re-stitch it across the top, and now the belt fits. The side belts here, over here under the arm, are a little tricky. You're going to need a set of really fine tweezers to get in those belts and kind of push them through and tighten them up where they need to be, because it is going to have to be a bit looser considering this body is um, uh, more muscular and larger than the one it came with. The other problem that you'll have if you're going into this is this base body. The base body is, you would think by now there would be a uniformity to these where the head pegs and the wrist pegs and the ankle pegs would all just use the standard Hot Toys format. And for the most part, most of your third-party bodies are very compatible with it. This one, however, has a very thin neck peg, very small ball on the end of it, and it will not fit on the typical standard um, neck adapter that's going to go into the head. So this would be like that. Okay. So when I swapped out the head, I had to remove the inner adapter and replace it with one of the more conventional ones that are so readily available. But here he is. I picked up a sidearm for him. He's got a 1911. He's got a nice hunting knife here. So, which I figured was a little bit better because the figure itself came with a revolver and with a really nice knife in it. But I figured that this looked a little bit more military and was more fitting for the character. The other problem that I did have with the Punishman Frank figure was the rifle actually looks more like a little AR-15 rather than uh, 16 here, which is much larger. So I swapped that out with one that I found. Still, it's a great value. Now, if you're like me and you have a lot of bodies around because you never know when you're going to get that urge to customize something, create a new figure, and you're going to need an appropriate body, I tended to have some of these things laying around. Plus, when the new bodies come out, I generally pick one up just to see what it's going to be like, so I can give some advice to people who might be looking for a body swap. But there he is. There's my new and improved Punishman Frank figure compared to the Hot Toys Age of Ultron Captain America. Overall, I think it works really well. And like I said, even with the body swap, if you added the price of the body swap to this, I think this body was about $45. Even if you add that to that, you're still only coming in at around $240, which is considerably cheaper than Hot Toys. Now, you could argue that like you get really great quality with Hot Toys, which you do, but I think the question you have to ask yourself is, do I need that in my collection, or is this going to be good enough for me to get my figure the way I want it? Personally, I have a lot of fun making and doing kit bashing. So if I can get something that I'm very happy with, that's good enough for me. I don't necessarily need to have, it's got to be explicitly Hot Toys. If there's a character that you like that is only going to be represented in that form and to that extent, and that's really what you want, by all means, I highly recommend you get it. But if you're doing a background character, you can easily pick up a new body, pick up a third party, or even kit bash off of loose parts and make yourself something that's going to fit in and you should be happy with. But that's about it. So there's my my expanded and body swapped Punishman Frank. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions that I might be able to help with, please feel free to put them in the comments below. And if you would, hit subscribe. And I'm almost to that 2,000 mark. Thanks for watching.